Do you want to go on a family vacation without breaking the bank? I get it. We just bought a new house and we're doing lots of house projects that cost money. So this year, our family vacation is a budget road trip. We're on our last day on our way home. So I wanted to share some of our budget-friendly tips for road tripping and vacationing with your family. I'm going to share some of my favorite tips that we have used for years. And at the very end, I'll show you exactly how much we spent on our budget for our vacation. Hey there, Brittany Flammer here with videos about budgeting and money saving tips. If these are things that interest you, then make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you get notified of my videos. So let's start with food. We always pack our own food for the drives. Here is how we typically do it. Each kid gets their own bag. So this is Cooper's, and everything in this bag is his for the day. If we're going to be driving for 2 days, then he'll get a bag on day 1, and then we'll have another bag on day 2. It's filled with things, mostly things like Sam's prepackaged stuff. I'll show you. We've got some dried apples, granola bars, packaged goldfish, fruit snacks. We're doing a short drive today, so it's mostly just snacks. If we're going over breakfast or lunch or dinner, breakfast, we'll usually do bagels and cream cheese, or lunch, we'll do sandwiches. Maybe we'll switch it up. Some days do rolls, some days do bread. For dinner, we'll try to do something like a wrap to try to differentiate some of the meals. But we give it to them. We just toss it back to them. They can eat anything in the bag whenever they want. But when it's gone, and that's all they get. If you don't want to pack all of your food, maybe you want to stop and eat. Some suggestions: Little Caesars. When you're going through a town, look up to see if you can see a Little Caesars. $5 pizzas. You cannot get a meal cheaper than that. Or going to a grocery store. Sometimes we'll get out when we stop to get gas. We'll make sure we stop at a grocery store so we can walk around, and maybe you can pick up food. Or sometimes if grocery stores have delis, you can order food there, like real food, sandwiches, chicken, pizza. And it's not necessarily cheaper than eating out, but you get a lot more food and it feels a little bit healthier. Talking about activities on the road trip. We hardly do any activities anymore. I actually bought lap things so that they could each have activities and color and do stuff. And those did not work for us. I think maybe we just have too many kids. It ended up being a big mess. So we really hardly bring any activities. Our older kids pack books and they'll read. Our younger kids, I pack books that I can read to them. So they're sitting right behind me. Let me pull out some of the books. So here are some of the books we've got. I like to do thin ones so they can fit in the back of our seat where there's a pocket. They're right here so I can hold it and read to them. Or I can climb back into our 8th seat and read to them. Or we have our older kids can climb into that 8th seat in between them and read to them. Occasionally we'll get like a dollar store activity for them to play with in their seat. But really, we don't need much. We did invest in, I got this on Amazon. It's 50 different games that you can play anywhere. You don't need any supplies. It's just stuff you can do. They're perfect for road trips. I can't remember. It was a few dollars. I'll look it up. And if it's still on there, I'll put a link in the description box below. But most of them are for ages 4 and up. So they are not great for little ones. But you don't need anything. They're all things that you can play in the car. I just stick this in our jockey box. If you know what a jockey box is, let me know in the comments below. In the glove compartment. We call it a jockey box. I don't know where it came from. So let me know in the comments down below if you call it a glove box or a jockey box. But I just keep this in our car whenever. So if we get stuck in traffic or if we're on a road trip, I pull it out and we can play a game. Of course, we do bring screens and do devices. This road trip, was only a 6-hour trip for us, and we asked one of our kids to get the DVD player and they forgot, so we didn't do it and we were just fine. As far as keeping the car cleaned, we always keep these garbages in. They're just hanging off of the back, and I like these, but you know what? A free version is grocery sacks. These work great for road trips. If you have little hooks, we have some hooks right here to hang them on. If not, I just like to stick them on the armrest. And we always have a garbage. So whenever we stop to get gas, I have all the kids gather up whatever garbage, stick it in a sack, and we empty it. So the car doesn't become a total disaster. They're free and that works great. I actually use these for so many things. If you check out my video, I'll put it up here. 50 frugal living tips. I use these for a lot of things. Now let's talk about lodging. When we're doing a long road trip, say it's a 2-day road trip, like traveling across country or something, and we need to stay somewhere overnight, I love to use Hotwire. I found it a couple years ago. We've used it several times. We don't plan where we're going to stay in advance because maybe the kids are doing great in the car, or they take a really long nap and we drive further than we think, or maybe it's really awful and we just need to stop somewhere that has a swimming pool and swim. So I don't like to plan in advance. So I like Hotwire because I can get on my phone. They have an app you can get on, you can filter and see they have hot deals, really good deals. So we have been able to find last minute, the day of, a couple hours before we need a hotel. We figure out where we think we'll be in 2 or 3 hours. I look on Hotwire and I've gotten really good deals. And I was just looking on their website. If you are new to them, I found a coupon code for 20% off. I will put a link in the description box below. It doesn't have an expiration date, so I don't know how long it is, but if it's your first time, give it a try. We've had great experiences with this. We've never been looking for high-end hotels. It's always been more cheaper discount hotels, but it has worked great for us. However, once we get to our destination, we never stay in hotels. We always stay in Airbnb, or Vrbo works too. I used to think it was VRBO, but it's Vrbo. I heard a commercial once. Usually it's Airbnb because it is so much cheaper for us. We are a family of 7. Once you enter in all of the ages of everyone, hotels will automatically require us to get 2 hotel rooms. And so Airbnb is always a lot cheaper than hotels for us. But even if you only need 1 hotel room, then Airbnb is maybe not cheaper. Usually they're about the same cost if you need 1 hotel room. We still save so much money with Airbnb because we get a place that has more, it always has more space. This place we stayed at had a couple of bedrooms. Our kids all have actual beds to sleep on. We have separate rooms, so if someone needs to go to bed early, we can put them in a room, shut the door. The rest of us can still do stuff. And the biggest thing is they have a kitchen, so we can prepare our own food, so we don't have to eat out and spend a ton of money eating out. So we save so much money with Airbnb. A lot of them will even have washers and dryers. So today we are going home with clean laundry because we were able to do our laundry there for free. Now, I love Airbnb. I do not, if it's just gonna be one night, like on the drive, it's not worth it for us because they always have they have the cost per night and then they have a cleaning fee and a service fee. So we have to stay there for a couple nights for us to usually make it worth it. So if we just need one night, we'll look at like Hotwire. But if we're going to stay somewhere for a couple nights, we almost always use Airbnb. And we save so much money because of the kitchen and we can prepare our own food. And that brings us back to food. Food, I feel like we spend so much of our money and time on food. Food is really expensive on road trips. When you're eating out every single meal, it adds up really, really fast and you get sick of it, and usually I don't feel that great when we eat out a ton. So I love to do our own food. If we are going a long distance, we will stop. I just look up on my phone at a grocery store on our way into the Airbnb, the town wherever we're staying, a grocery store. We will stop on our way in and we will get the food we need for those meals. So if anything needs to be refrigerated and frozen, it's fine. It'll stay good for a few minutes until we get checked into our Airbnb. And if we are going a short distance, so this trip for us was only 6 hours, I packed a cooler, filled it with the food we were going to use and some ice, and everything was great. So I didn't have to spend hardly anything on food because I planned simple, easy meals and I just grabbed food that we already had. So I pulled food out of our freezer. I pulled food out of our pantry. So I hardly had to buy anything and we didn't have to eat out at all. In fact, I will show you some of the meals we prepared. For breakfast, we just did the instant oatmeal packet, some cereal with milk, and we had some bagels and cream cheese. For lunches, we did a bunch of sandwiches. We had bread and rolls to spruce it up a little bit. We did turkey and cheese with Miracle Whip to give some variety. We also had peanut butter and honey and some tuna fish. We had watermelon. For dinners, we had spaghetti, so we got our frozen meat there, and I bought a loaf of bread to make some garlic bread. We did some mac and cheese with some hot dogs in there, a pre-made salad kit. I had a frozen shepherd's pie that we used. I took out my freezer, and then we had lots of snacks. Souvenirs are another thing that can get really, really expensive, especially if every kid wants something. We try to keep it really minimal. A few years ago, we started collecting magnets from different places we went. I wish we'd have done this sooner. I love them because they're almost always cheap. You can almost always find them no matter where you are. And they're small, so they don't take up much space. So we always pick at least one magnet from wherever we go. We will let our kids usually choose one thing. So it's either a magnet or maybe keychain or postcard or stickers for their water bottle, something like that. They each get one small thing. If they want anything more than that, they are welcome to get more than that, but we will not pay for it. They have to pay for it themselves. And we have a money system, so they earn their own money. I'll put a video link to that right up there. Also, when it comes to activities, we're staying in a resort area where there are so many things. They can do zip lining, there's mountain biking, they can take gondola rides. There's so much to do, but those activities are so expensive. So we chose hiking and swimming. We chose things that were totally free. We looked into zip lining because I thought maybe that'd be fun. It was going to be like $80 to take our family zip lining, and it was going to last like 15 minutes. So instead, we went on a hike that took 3 or 4 hours and was completely free. So there's nothing wrong with paying for activities. Just beware that those expenses add up very quickly. Now, let me show you an exact cost breakdown.
We did a 4-day trip with our family of 7. We spent $362.91 for our Airbnb. We spent $80 on gas. We did come home with a mostly empty tank that I had to fill up like the next day. Our food was $21. That's because we bribed our kids after a few major hikes with some popsicles and ice cream. And of course, when you go in for one or two little things, you end up with a few more snacks. We spent $7 on souvenirs, got a couple of magnets, a few postcards. All of our activities were free, and we had a lot of fun. So our total was $471.39 for our family of 7. I feel pretty good about that.
I hope this has been helpful. In the comments down below, let me know what other tips you have for saving money when you are traveling. There are so many things. These are just a few that I find us using again and again. Right here will be a video all about our money system for our kids. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much. See you in the next video.